Hey everyone, Scary House the Outdoor Cook, Cooking Everything Outdoor show. And what I have on the menu today is pizza. In fact, I'm going to show you how to make pizza dough from scratch with just a few ingredients from a rock solid knockout recipe I found in this book, Pizza on the Grill. I made a couple little tweaks to it. Actually, I added a couple things, but I think you're really going to like this. Very, very easy, very fun. Pizza on the grill. Scary House, the Outdoor Cook, Cooking Everything Outdoors show. I hope you try this at home. Okay, let's get going. What we're going to need first is one packet of, it's a 1/4 ounce packet of yeast. It's the dried yeast. Always make sure you check the expiration date on these. You know, it has a shelf life. After a certain amount of time it gets old and doesn't, what does yeast do? Ferments, if you will. Not an expert on yeast, so check it out. Go see a baker. Baker I'm not. 1 cup of lukewarm water. 1 package of yeast. And we're just going to sprinkle that over the top. And what's going to happen is in a couple minutes that is going to start foaming up and really activating itself. So once that's done, 5 minutes from now, nice watch, 5 minutes from now, then we're going to mix our dry ingredients together, put it all together, see what happens. About 5 minutes. And it's starting to, it sank to the bottom, dissolved, now it's starting to rise up, getting a little foamy. What we're going to do now is mix our flour together. Set this aside here. So what I do is I start with a small bowl when I put my flour mixture together, because I'm going to add that to the large bowl with the water in it, so it all works out in the wash. So we need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Three cups, not 4 cups, sorry. Do what I say, not what I do. And don't try this at home, or they always say something to that effect. Okay. I need a teaspoon of sugar. Regular plain old sugar, heaping teaspoon. It's a great yeast activator. That mixed around. Some salt. Recipe calls for kosher salt. This is regular sea salt, and I'll need a 1/4 teaspoon of this. Whether one works better than the other, I don't know, but I'll probably get too much in there. There we go. And then what I do, this is really where the recipe stops. You know, I mean, it's that basic and it's that simple. But I like to add a little bit of onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder to my pizza recipe for the dough. And I just think it adds just a little bit more flavor. And just a little bit, 1/8 of a teaspoon is all it takes. These spices were sent to me by My Spice Cafe, or excuse me, My Spice Sage, and it's really, really, really nice product. Fresh, they're all sealed, and when you open it up, the flavors and aromas that come out of this are just pungent, really pungent smelling. MySpicesage.com This is part of their pizza seasoning and spice set, which is a 10 seasoning set. I'm going to use a couple when I make some pizzas a little later on. But just about everything you need to make some really, really nice pizzas and a large variety of pizzas. So we got this, now we're going to stir it up just a little bit. Okay, and if you've been watching the show very long, you know I always forget something. What'd I forget? Le spoon. So I've got to mix this flour into this water, and I'm going to use my measuring spoon. You all might have a little better technique than I do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add about a half a cup or so at a time and mix this up and give it a good thorough going through. It's already starting to smell like pizza dough. And in just a couple minutes, I'm going to take and start lightly kneading this. And lightly is a good thing because I don't like to do a lot of kneading. So we have that in there. You may find that you have to add a little bit of water to this. I'm hoping I'm not going to. I'm also hoping I didn't forget anything in the recipe, because I'm thinking I should have added some olive oil. But oh well. So we're going to need a little extra flour because we've got to put this down on the our pastry sheet down here that we're going to be rolling things out on. And you know, just enough to cover the bottom of this so it doesn't stick too much. I like to get a little bit on my hands. Close that. Start working this in the bowl a little bit more, getting all that flour and ingredients together. Just about got all I think I'm going to get out of there. Take it out and put it down. And kneading. Kneading is not a skill that I have mastered, but it's basically folding over, punching down, folding over, punching down, folding over, punching down. And what we want to do, this for about a minute. And add flour as you need to. It's you don't want it tacky. You need it to be silky. And we just keep working it in and working it in. And I'll be back in about a minute. Okay, I've been kneading this for about a minute now, and it is nice and smooth. It's not real tacky. I don't want to overwork this dough. It's really a minimalistic approach to it. If you work it too much, if you knead it too much, and it's going to be really tough, chewy dough, and we don't want that. So basically all I've done at this point is kind of crowned it over, if you will. A little ball-like that. Nothing fancy, nothing to be concerned about. And now I'm going to take our bowl, and I need to add some oil to it. And only olive oil is going to work for this, in my opinion. And we're just going to put maybe a quarter cup on there and get this bowl good and coated. And the reason we want to do that, for two reasons. One is so our dough doesn't stick to the bowl, and also we're going to coat our dough with this oil. So now you take your dough, pizza dough, you put it in there, and you just give it a good coating with the oil. I really don't know what's too much or what's too little. That's just about the way I do it. And in this case, that is the way I did it. So you get a good idea. Now, I'm looking at that, and I probably got a little carried away with the dough. But it's okay. Now we're going to cover it with some clear stretch film. What's the brand name for this stuff? Saran wrap or something. Now that I've said that, you guys have to send me a check. We're just going to cover this up. We're going to set it out here, not directly in the sun, but we're going to keep it outside for about an hour, and it's going to virtually double in size, and that's where we want. I'm going to knock it down, and I'm going to probably get 3 or 4 little pizzas out of this, individual sized pizzas, and we'll try a few goodies on there and see how it works out. But this is really, really good pizza dough, especially for its simplicity. What is it, 5, 6 ingredients? We're rolling. Okay, our dough's been rising for about an hour now, and it's doubled in size, and it is just absolutely beautiful. So what the process is now is we're going to knock it down. I'm going to knead it a little bit. I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to pretty much just make 3 or 4 little small pizzas. So let's get going. And what knocking down means is just basically taking the dough, which is light and fluffy and airy right now, because that yeast process, as I understand it, creates a lot of carbon dioxide, something to that effect. Anyway, that's what gives you your lightness and your fluffiness. So just push all that down. A lot of oil on that. Get it out of there. What I'm going to need now is some flour on my pastry board here. This is just one of those silicone ones that I like to use. And I did put a little bit too much olive oil on there, but it's not going to be a problem. And we're just going to work this for a little bit. The lights shifted on us, and I got a lot of shadow. I could always turn the camera around and you can see the ugly part of the yard. But hey, no wind chimes. Okay. So this is just really, really nice dough right now. Keep that well floured. I've never worked at a pizza parlor. I'm not a pizza dough expert. I just kind of go with what I feel is just about right. Again, we don't want to overwork that. So what I make is a big giant piece right there, and then I like to use one of these little pastry scrapers, if you will, and I will just cut it in half, and then I'll give it another cut so that I have 4 nice little globs of pizza. I find that these give me a pretty darn good size pizza. Now you can roll these out, you could press them out, you can make them thick, you can make them thin. And half the time I let my boys do this, and they come out all different shapes and sizes. And I guess that is what artesian pizza dough looks like. You also want to make this dough in the configuration that your heat source is, because you're not going to put this on direct heat. And to give you an idea of what I'm referring to is if you have a 3-burner grill and your burners go 1, 2, 3 in that manner, then you're going to want to put that pizza dough right in the center, and it will be somewhat rectangular. If you have a barbecue gas grill that has the burners in this configuration, you're going to have a narrow profile, so you're going to want really a longer, more rectangular dough. If you're using a round charcoal kettle, then you could probably get away with a couple oval-sized pizzas to go in the center of your charcoal grill there. But this is just, you know, it's nothing, nothing fancy. It's not perfectly round. Don't know if I really want it to be perfectly round. And I've got my pizza board here, and I'm going to knock out a few more here, and I'm going to put them on this board. I'll keep them covered up so they don't dry out. That little towel should probably be a moist towel. You can almost feel these drying out as they sit in the sun. So I'm going to work pretty quick here. And next time you see me, these are going to be done.